Hello,
Hello.
hello. How are you?
I'm good. I just have it's like some new kind of sparkling water that's orange sorbet flavor.
I have a body armor fruit punch. It's very good. My dad keeps getting them, and I always take them
Yeah,
because they're
yeah,
very
because you're working on your arms.
What?
You're working on your arms.
Sure. Oh yeah. Look at this. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. That's super cringy. Anyway, we're restart everyone. Restart. We're not doing. All right. In all seriousness, hello everyone. Welcome to the next episode of A Conversation with Kely. As always, I'm here with my lovely beautiful co-host Aly. We already know how she's doing today, so we're gonna skip through all of that. That being said, this is a very interesting week because if you noticed, we are only doing one podcast. Stars on Mars was off for this week because 4th of July. Because Fox decided to halt all of their shows for the 4th of July. But you know what didn't? ABC. And you know what's better than Fox? ABC. We already knew this because we have a new Claim to Fame episode this week. Yeah, my God, there is a lot to talk about here. I think it's pretty clear to say, Aly, this season is just absolutely on fire. I mean,
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about a cast that is just finding a way to surpass what was even better than last season. I think this is the one that's doing it because
these people like really came to play.
Yeah, they really did. I think especially like last season, a lot of them you could tell like didn't really play games before. This time, I mean, these people are game bots. Like they are going for it, and I'm here.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah. So what did you think of this week's episode?
Oh, I thought it was even better than the first one, and just oh my God, I was just literally like wanting more. Like I wish the episodes were a bit longer.
Yeah. I mean, that's still really my only issue with this show is I think that if the episodes were a little bit longer, we would have some time to see certain things play out that we haven't gotten to see. But I will say this week, I thought they did enough to where we got at least a little bit from everybody. I don't think there was anyone this week where I was like
we definitely got more
from
I will say we got more from like a Carson, a Cole, and an Olivia.
Cole's the only one where I'm like, I wish we got more from him because I still couldn't really tell you a lot about like his game right now. I could tell you about conversations he's had with people, but I can't tell you a lot about what is Cole doing in the game. But like Carson, Olivia, yeah, I agree with you on that. But Cole's the one where I'm like, I don't know. But we're not here to just talk about Cole. We're here to talk about the episode in general. So Aly is going to start us off and talk about what ends up being a pretty crazy episode, I would say.
All right. JR asks everyone if they ever taken trips with their celebrity relatives. And Cole says his family does a bunch of snowboarding trips, and JR says the best place he's been is Hawaii, where him and his celebrity relative had a private chef. Which was like a fun way to start the episode.
It was, but it also like kicks things off pretty crazy with a certain conversation that's said.
And no. Chris says after Carly's elimination, there are strategies that are changing in everybody, and they're starting to either help each other out or other people are closing off.
And can I just say right now, so last week I said I felt like Chris was kind of giving like villain the season energy. This week he fully embraces that. Like Chris is somebody that you just don't want to tell fucking anything to because he's not going to keep that between you. Like he's going to leak everything and like it's working for him. Like I honestly could see Chris being a potential winner pick in the end because I think
he's honestly such a snake.
He really is. He's like the villain that like you always hope for on like shows like this. And I think really
it's so good.
Yeah.
Carson is very intrigued by Shane because she's very quiet and always writing in her notebook. She can tell she's sitting there analyzing people and analyzing what they're saying without saying anything about it. So she's going to be the one that they're going to have to keep an eye on.
Like Shane is definitely someone to watch out for, even though maybe she's not as dangerous as everyone thinks she is.
Yeah. Shane tells Carson and Chris that when she was a kid, her and her older brother and a younger sister were really obsessed with Michael Jackson, and her relative was friends with him, so they got to go to this house and ride all the rides that he had a bunch of animals. So she says she only met him that one time, and it was really cool, and she was probably no older than 5.
So who do you think she could be related to from this conversation?
I don't know. I'm trying to it's definitely not Janet Jackson.
No, I don't think so.
I actually don't know. It's tough to say, based on this part. But I have more of a sense later on when she gets a clue.
Yeah.
It's revealed, but as of right now, it's hard to say. What about you?
I don't know. And that's, like I said, the beauty of this season right now is that I like that still nobody has said to the audience who their celebrity relative is. So we are still very much guessing along with the cast. And I said it last week and I'll say it again. It makes this all the more exciting when we are left in the dark as to what's actually going on. We don't know if she's being serious. We don't know if it's Janet Jackson. I don't think it's Janet Jackson. I really don't know. I'm trying to think of friends of Michael Jackson. I feel like there's one that is so obvious that we're just not thinking about, but maybe in the coming weeks it'll come to me. But right now I have no idea.
Yeah, it's really hard to say.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand why everyone is seeing her as such a huge threat, especially because she has no notes in her book, just doodles, and it's ridiculous with people being so fixated on what she's writing, when it's just blind contours of everyone in the game, and she barely knows her own clues, but she knows she's being talked about and will use that to her advantage.
I love this. I love that she reveals that literally it's just a bunch of doodles. There's nothing to worry about. Because
she just likes to draw.
I would be just as sketched out, to be honest with you, if I see someone scribbling things in a notebook or something like that, or I see someone writing something down. If I'm not working with that person, yeah, I'm terrified at what that person is doing. But if I'm working with that person, then it's, not nearly as much of a threat. But I think it's so funny that I
think it's hilarious.
Drawings.
It's so funny.
Yeah, she literally should just show everyone her notebook and be like, here it is. Here's all you need to worry about.
So good. Chris doesn't buy it only happened once and thinks she may be related to Janet Jackson potentially, or maybe Lenny Kravitz.
Like I said, villain of the season right here. You don't want Chris on your bad side.
No. Travis goes to Jane and tells her about his clue. She says she sleeps in that room with her, so she's hesitant to do anything about it. He says he trusts her a lot as she's very knowledgeable, so if she's going to share it with anyone, he thinks she's the best choice. He shows her the message and says he is thinking the random symbols may mean king or queen, flies in America, and he doesn't know what it means to play buckwheat. She says buckwheat was a character on SNL, hinting she may be related to Eddie Murphy. Travis thinks that this lines up perfectly with Circled Saturday on the clue wall and the crown that is also there. She says he now has a layup, but he is hesitant on when to play it, and she says that the biggest thing is for them to either try to get immunity or not be in the bottom, but he's also going to have to try to protect himself because he's being seen as a target in his house. He had no idea this was the care, which makes him think he needs to reevaluate how he plays this game.
Yeah, can I just say right now, I said last week, I think Trevor, who the fuck is Trevor? I think Travis could be a potential winner pick. Yeah, not exactly the case. He has a really bad episode, I think.
No, it's not good for him at all.
Yeah. Now I do want to talk about Jane for a second because I think what we saw this week was honestly very unique. They make it seem at first like Jane is in this really good spot. And then, well, we'll talk about what happens, but how are you feeling about Jane so far?
At first I'm like, okay, she could probably go far, but then later on I'm like, okay, maybe not. Yeah. She's definitely someone who's very smart, but you have to be really cautious with her.
Yeah, I feel like this cast, nothing gets past them. You're even the slightest bit messy. I mean, they're going to clock it. And I think it's because you have someone like a Chris or a Carson who just or a Shane who sees through those things so well. And so I feel like this is going to be a cast where you do anything that's even a little bit shady, they're gonna see it.
Yep.
So I don't know about Jane. At first I was okay, I think Jane is in a really good spot. But after we'll talk about it later. But I at this point I was like, oh my god, Jane's really killing it. But we'll talk about that later on.
She is worried that if he gets information, it will get found out and will put a target on her back, but also thinks she'd be stupid to not try to get something.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely was the right move because it's like, hey, if Travis has a chance of staying, like now you have Travis on your side. He's gonna trust you. If he wins immunity, he's not going to try to push for you. If he ends up in the bottom two, he's not going to guess you. So I thought this was smart for Jane. I thought she made the right choice here.
I think so too. She is worried that if he get, oh, sorry, I already read the part.
Yeah, you just read that.
She says Travis reminds him of her kid. He's so brilliant, and if they're correct about this celebrity relative, it makes perfect sense. But she is now being seen as a friend or confidant, and she's going to take full advantage of that for as long as she possibly can.
Yeah.
She tells people she made Travis cry. She lets them know he showed her the clue, which was something about travel and touring, as well as something about a deer. She says she doesn't know if she can help him. She tells them if he knows he's a target. Shane says she knows she is too and doesn't feel bad.
I was honestly shocked at like how well she lied here because this
I know.
is literally like not even close to what the clue was. I was like, how did you come up with this? Like a deer and him crying. I was so impressed by like what Jane was able to do here. And
it was so good.
I thought it was really gonna work out for her, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I thought this was like really impressive from Jane. Like the way she was able to go from him basically just being like, I know what this is. I just need you to help me, and her helping him, and then lying and saying like, yeah, the clue was so confusing. I couldn't even figure it out. I thought that was brilliant the way she was able to play that here.
Oh, it was so great.
Yeah.
Jane says she has a psychology degree, and she knew that coming into yeah. Oh, yeah. She knew that coming into this house, it would help her very much. For her gameplay, she's telling a little bit of the truth along with her lies. Shane is really overwhelmed. Travis shared a clue with Jane and feels really exposed now. As a result, she needs him to go home to prevent anyone else from having access to her clue, and if they cannot get him out of it, it will make her feel a lot safer in this game.
Yeah, at this point, I was like, yeah, Travis is done here. I feel like this is pretty obvious. Travis is probably going home in this episode.
I know, this is not good for him.
Yeah, if he doesn't win immunity, he's basically done, which is really funny because I literally said he could be a winner pick last week.
I know, he just, I guess, played too hard.
I think that's really what it was, because like if I recall last season when I don't remember who found the clue last season, but they shared it with the entire house because they didn't want to put a target on their back. Travis this time did the exact opposite, where like he kept it to himself and he only told a few people, and then obviously sketched Shane out. So I think he just handled it completely the wrong way.
Yeah. Chris says everybody loves Jane because she's the mom and everybody trusts her. He doesn't trust her because she's very dialed with how she emits information and that she has to get out sooner rather than later.
The short version is Chris doesn't trust anybody that's not Carson. I feel like.
I mean, I'm here for that duo, but like,
I am too. But like, my God, Chris is just like, I want this person out. I want this person out. Like,
it's so funny. Chris and Carson bond over playing pool, and they discuss that Jane is calculated and that she is telling them all lies, and especially because Travis wouldn't have been okay with her sharing the clue.
Yeah, I like this duo a lot, actually. I feel like the two of them are they're very similar players, or like they're absorbing tons of information and they're just trying to like find the right time to like do something about it. And I think it's really working out for them. Like if they end up being like kind of the if they end up being like the LC and Logan, I'm here for that.
Oh, that'd be so good.
So
Travis is confident him and Jane have the upper hand right now, although he is worried that picking Shane's clue put a target on his back, which is true.
Very much so. So we get the next competition, which ends up being like half of the episode. This was like a very extensive challenge, and this is exactly what I was talking about last week. I didn't want them to do like the same type of challenges they did last time. In short, they did not. I mean, this was a crazy challenge, and I really like the way, especially for week 2, I feel like this is something they do like closer to the end. I love that they did this at the start. What did you think of this challenge and how it all went? Because I thought it was pretty insane.
Oh, I thought it was so good, and it was just like crazy. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like one of those challenges that you'd see like much later in the game. So I like that they did it earlier here because it made this honestly very spicy. So they all make
Yeah.
their way outside and they're told about today's challenge. Today's competition is all about giving them a chance to step out of their relative shadows and into the limelight themselves. The thing about the world of celebrity is that they have to work twice as hard to keep their secrets safe. So today they're going to have to protect their secrets at all costs, and they're going to be playing a game to see if they have what it takes to make it in Tinseltown. And at the end of 3 rounds, whoever makes it to the top of the leaderboard will be the winner and be immune for the round. So the 2 players at the bottom of the leaderboard are going to be at risk of becoming the guesser. And for the first round, they're going to each have to run to the first station where they will be applying blush, eyeshadow, and lipstick. And after the makeup station comes the wardrobe where they will have to put on a hat and a cape and then walk the red carpet, but they will have to walk down one that is made of tiny plastic pain-inducing blocks. So basically Legos, which let me just say right now, there is nothing more painful than stepping on a Lego. It is awful. Anyone that's had to do that, I'm sure.
Oh gosh.
Also, one of the
I love this challenge so much.
I was a fucking idiot when it came to this challenge because I thought when they meant 3 legs, they meant like, okay, the first round you're going to be applying makeup, the second round you're going to be applying a wardrobe, and the second round you're going to have, in the third round you're going to have to walk on pain-inducing blocks. This was literally just the first round. So at this point, I thought the challenge was over. I was like, oh my God, that's a really short challenge.
Right.
It was because it was the first leg. So
funny.
We get this moment with Olivia that I actually really liked because I feel like she hasn't gotten like enough. And I feel like here we kind of got some clarity as to like what her overall strategy is. She says that she's like really under the radar right now. No one knows who she is, and she doesn't want any clue coming out about her. So she has to make sure that she's not in the bottom. How do you feel about Olivia? Do you think this is going to work out for her? Like, what do you think?
I think it could work out for her for at least a little bit. Like maybe I can also see her getting like a 4th place in my opinion.
Yeah, because
I think right now she's just trying to be like ditzy and naive and just like very low key. But I think it'll work out for her for sure. I hope so.
I think in this cast, like the less you're playing, the better, because we're seeing the people that are already like really overplaying and like what's happening to them. So I feel like her being as like subtle as possible when it comes to her strategy, that is the way to play in this game. So I think it could definitely work out well for her. I'm not really sure like who she has right now. Like that's something that is a little bit hard to tell. Like, I don't really know who she's working with, but I do think her being subtle, I mean, no one's coming for her, at least from the edit, it doesn't seem that way.
No one's coming for her yet at all.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's working for her. So after what really doesn't end up being a particularly close race, Monet has completed round 1. Which really good for her. I think she definitely, I mean, I don't know if she necessarily needed it, but like, you know, she really kills it here.
I feel like she could be like a possible like winner as well.
I could see that for sure. Gabriel was last and JR was second to last. So the clue being revealed this round is where the celebrity relative was born. I thought it was crazy they're doing this so early on. Already feeling like stuff about their celebrity relatives. But it's revealed that JR's relative was born in Lithia Springs, Georgia. And Carson then whispers to Hugo that he's going to be related to a basketball player from Atlanta. So Hugo now thinks he's related to Dwayne Wade, although he's not sure about his birthplace. And Aly can debunk this real quick. Dwayne Wade is not from Atlanta, so it's not him. Because you're smart and did your research. So yeah, Hugo's wrong here. I don't know if you can hear me, Hugo, but you're wrong.
Yeah, he is from Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, so it's definitely not Dwayne Wade. I will say though, I do think Hugo is going to do better than I thought he would. I wasn't sure about him last week, but I think he's doing okay right now. But it's also kind of hard to tell because he doesn't get a lot of airtime in this episode.
We'll see.
It's then revealed that Gabriel's relative was born in San Diego, California. Cole says that he 100% knows his brother is in sports. His face is right there, but he knows that Gabriel was definitely in football. I couldn't fucking tell you because I don't know sports, so we're just going to move on.
And I have no idea.
More information later on. So for the next round of the challenge, they're going to have to win an award, but this challenge is a little bit of glitz, a little bit less of glitz and glam, and a little bit more of the grit and the grime. This is where things get really crazy. They have to dig through a barrel chock full of fish chum, and they're going to dig deep through it to find their trophy and set it on top. So as they are digging,
like literally everyone was like disgusted.
Yeah, basically as they're digging, they notice a ton of fish heads. Everyone is really disgusted by this comp, but after a truly grueling race, Monet once again deservingly wins this round, really killing it at this point.
Yes, queen.
So yeah, I was really impressed by this for sure. I think Monet really killed it. I certainly don't think I would have done well at this part of the challenge. So
it was so gross to watch.
Yeah, this is the part where I was like, I can't believe they're doing this already. Like, I feel like the gross stuff last season they waited for until like towards the end. But I think because they have a bigger budget this season, and also because they don't want to just do the same things as season one, they're really like changing it up. And I feel like this is the way you do it for sure. So basically, we get this moment then where it's revealed that Jane's celebrity relative.
Oh, you forgot to say who came in last and second to last.
Oh, yeah. So Jane came in last. Jane came in second to last. So it's revealed that Jane's celebrity relative was born in 1946. We get this great moment from Olivia where she's like, 1946? That means either dead or 80. I thought that was great.
That was so funny.
Like if there was an episode quote, it would be that for me. I thought that was great.
Oh, yeah.
So
she's just trying to put on the ditzy vibe.
Yeah. So Chris says his celebrity relative was big in the 70s, so maybe Jane's relative was popular at the same time. I'm trying to figure out like who she could be related to, and I have no idea.
I don't know. I feel like I know because I'm looking it up right now for Shane's.
Yeah. So it's then revealed that Shane's relative was born in 1961. So we know.
And also Eddie Murphy's born in 61. I just looked it up. It probably is him.
Yeah. I mean, based on the clue, it certainly seems that way.
Yeah.
So she's a little worried because this clue could help Travis. So she's hoping that she can deflect there. So yeah, not great for Shane considering that. So for the final round, they will each be hooked up to an ab builder because it takes a thick skin and a strong core to survive in Hollywood. This machine will get more and more intense, and the last player to tap out wins this round, or as Alex likes to say, the machine. And the first two to do so will have another clue revealed. We get this great moment with Hugo where like he thinks he has this challenge with all the endurance and training stuff he loves, and for everyone else, this challenge is like really tough. For Hugo, this is like paradise. Like he's just like at peace. This is such like a serene and like relaxing challenge for him. And literally everyone, including Kevin and Frankie, think he's crazy for this. I thought this was amazing.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Yeah, where they're like, Hugo, I'm a little bit creeped out. I'm not going to lie. So there ends up being an 11-way tie, which is insane.
Right? So insane.
So no clues are going to be revealed this round. There is one clear winner. So Monet is officially safe from elimination. Pretty obviously, because she came in first in the other ones.
Deservingly.
Once again, she ended up lasting very long here. So she'll receive a winner's clue. The bottom two for the round are Jane and Gabriel. So one of them will be tonight's guesser and a risk of elimination, which I think was like the best case scenario because we just had this great first half with Jane. Everybody saying she's like playing a really strong social game. Now she has to put that to the test. And I love
it's so good.
I love seeing that downfall happen like immediately here. So Jane says being the guesser is scary, but she knows she can go further as she has a lot of knowledge about older things and they will likely need her for it, which is a good point. I mean, this is a very young cast. So like they definitely do need someone like Jane for sure. So because I mean, a lot of this cast is like pretty young for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the challenge. Like I said, it took up a long portion of the episode, but there's still a lot to talk about here because there's some interesting strategy going on.
Chris talks to Olivia and Hugo and asks what they think about those clues, and he thinks Gabriel is going to be the one up there to guess, and Olivia says he likely will be picking Travis. However, she also wants to make sure the three of them get their hands on Shane's clue before he leaves, but because he will be taking it with him. Chris thinks he won't do it because if he shows it to anyone else, he will be out, and he thinks they should tell him he's being considered.
I thought this was brilliant because, I mean,
Yeah.
one, it seems like Chris, it seems like, one, this was all like Chris's idea. Like Olivia and Hugo were very much talking, but like Chris was the one who came up with like, yeah, we have to get Shane's clue. Mainly he needs to get a hold of Shane's clue, but he's making it seem like it's like in all of their best interest to get a hold of it. I thought this was so smart. It's like, this is how Chris stays ahead of the curve. But then
So good.
if Travis stays, Travis, then is indebted to Chris. I mean, really, I just can't say enough. Chris is killing it. Like, he's so good in this episode.
Oh, he's so amazing, like,
This
as a
was
player.
another example of that for me.
Oh, yeah. Olivia says she thinks Travis came to play hard, so he kept the clue to himself, and it kind of rubbed people the wrong way. He thinks he's the only person in the house that they're pretty confident about, so Gabriel is most likely to guess Travis.
Which makes sense. I feel like Travis is like the default option at this point because everyone's pretty clear on like where he stands.
Yeah. Chris thinks they're all pretty confident on who Travis is related to, but regardless, if he takes Shane's clue with him, they need it.
Yeah.
Jane and Olivia come to talk with Monet and Cole. They discuss They discussed that Gabriel was unsure if he was pronouncing the name correctly, that they all think Travis is related to.
Which, can I just say, Gabriel is like I saw people on Twitter calling Gabriel like the himbo of the season. I feel like that's a very accurate way to describe him because, my God, he is just amazing this season so far. He's so
funny.
He's not the smartest for sure. And you can tell there are things that like he just isn't quite picking up on, but that's what I love about Gabriel. He's just so fun to watch. He also is just, you can tell how much fun he's having. I love the recurring gag of this episode that he just cannot pronounce like Travis's celebrity relative's name right. It's amazing. I love it.
It's so funny. He's amazing to watch. Jane says her fear with Travis is that he has 10 time with Shane's clue to start figuring it out, and she's worried he may just end up sending her home, and she doesn't want to guess, and they assure her no one will be voting for her.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely a valid concern of Jane's, but like it was probably going to be Travis here.
Yeah. Jane is hoping to not be picked to guess tonight, but there are only two options if she does. Travis she thinks he is related to Neil deGrasse Tyson, but she also feels confident about Shane's. However, she thinks for her gameplay, she thinks it'd be a mistake using that until she absolutely has to. However, with Travis, if she's wrong, she's going home tonight.
Yeah.
She also thinks she is a good liar, and that's only because of her being a great performer. She knows how to work a crowd and take advantage of her motherly ways, but it's okay to lie. They're supposed to because she has a game to play.
Exactly.
Gabriel struggling to pronounce Neil deGrasse Tyson's name, which is just so funny. He kept
saying like deGrasse Neil Tyson or something like that, or Neil Tyson deGrasse. I think is what he kept saying. It was amazing.
Oh, so funny.
Give me all of that.
Oh yeah. Hugo talks with Shane and he asks if she knows where she's voting yet, and she says she doesn't know. She is concerned about Jane having information about her, but knows she is more confident in Travis than Gabriel, and she hopes this will ensure he goes home because he will take her clue with him if he does.
Mm-hmm.
Chris talks about Shane really wants Travis to go because he's a smart player and doesn't share a lot, and he needs to get Shane's clue out of him before he leaves.
And this conversation with Travis, can I just say, absolutely brilliant. Everything Chris does here with Travis, I thought was just fantastic.
It's amazing.
As long as it works out for him, of course. Like, we could be talking weeks from now and Chris could be like number one on the chopping block, but like right now, I would say Chris is killing it.
Oh yeah. He pulls Travis aside and lets him know what his name is going around about who his celebrity relative is, and everyone is saying Neil deGrasse Tyson. And so he thinks either way, there's a high chance he will be picked, but if he doesn't want to be the target, he could show his clue to either Gabriel or Jane. He says Jane already has his clue, and Chris says Gabriel hasn't seen it, and this could be a great way to deflect his target.
Yeah, I absolutely love this because once again, like he is making it seem like it's like beneficial for him to show this to Gabriel. Like Gabriel has to get a hold of this clue, which I mean makes sense because it's Gabriel and Jane that are the guessers, but what he's really trying to do is he's trying to put himself in a position to where he knows the clue, and just the way he goes about it, especially later on the episode, chef's kiss all around. Like, this was so good.
Brilliant. Monet talks to Cole about who he'd pull if he was in her shoes. He says he doesn't know what clues are she already knows from the clue board, and she asks if she should pull Travis just to solidify. She's very 50-50 and might flip a coin or something.
I thought that was so funny, though. Like, she's going to flip a coin.
Oh, that would be so funny. JR tells Monet, Cole, and Shane that he walked in on a conversation that Chris was trying to get Travis to give Gabriel her clue so he'd vote her out. Honestly, I feel like JR is going to be the guy who just, like, spills anything.
Yeah. Chris, between Chris and JR, like I said, you can't keep any secrets in this house. Like,
Chris and JR are both like, well, JR seems to be good socially, but like I feel like JR and Chris are the two villains.
Yeah, Chris more so than JR, but yes.
Yeah, JR is just like the one who just spills anything.
Oh yeah.
Shane says if Travis were to tell Gabe about her clue and they're able to figure it out between now and elimination, she could be the next person to go home.
Which, I mean, Shane's paranoia makes perfect sense here. Like, all it really takes is, like, for the wrong person to tell Travis, because for all she knows, like, Travis could have, like, a lot of people in his pocket. And, all it takes is for that one person that, like, doesn't want Travis to go, and Shane's out the door. So, I really felt her paranoia here.
I know.
I kind of want to see Shane win immunity next round, because I feel like that would be really chaotic. Because
that'd be so good. Honestly, that'd be so entertaining. I hope that happens.
Yeah, like at that point, who do they pick?
I don't know. That's really a tough one.
Yeah.
Chris talks to Gabriel and says he told Travis what's going on, and Gabriel still can't get the name right, and he asks production if he said it wrong. Will he still be out? And they confirm he would have to do it correctly, which he said has a lot of pressure.
I love that he was like, I'll be fine if I just say it a little incorrectly, right? It's so good.
He's, like, amazing to watch.
He's so good.
Monet says she won today and she has immunity, but she also gets to choose the winner's clue. She wants to play the game smart. Her gut is saying to pick Chris, so she decides to go with him. She wants to choose Chris because there's something sneaky about him, which, I mean, true. She's the one person who's, like, after him right now.
Yeah, Monet is the only person onto Chris, and I think that's going to be really good for her, because, like,
Same.
She can already kind of see through his bullshit. So that's the only person I'm concerned about. Like, that's the only thing I'm concerned about when it comes to Chris. But, like, everybody else seems to trust him right now. It's really just Monet.
Yeah. This is her chance to really get some information on him. She then looks at his clue, but she's confused because it's not helping her at all. She definitely needs help with this one. Her plan with the winner's clue is to hold it to herself, but if someone does ask her, she will say she pulled Travis's clue.
I thought this was also brilliant. Like, the way this is like big braining it. Like, basically the way you do this is you just say, yeah, I pulled Travis's clue. And as long as nobody, like, confronts you on what the clue is, you're fine. And I think Monet handled this really well. So I'm just hoping next week that nobody's like, yeah, what was your clue? And then it's obviously not Travis's. So
yeah.
I think honestly, this will work for now. I just think she needs to play it like she doesn't have the clue anymore next round.
Yeah, she's just definitely gives winner edits for now.
I could definitely see that, because especially the fact that she's already onto Chris when, like, literally everyone else is, like, pretty much working with him. I think that's really good for Monet. So
yeah. Olivia asks Cole if she wants to hear a funny clue that Hugo said, which is that he knows Jane and that she's related to a rock star because of all the wigs. She tells him if he ever says he thinks he knows someone, he doesn't, because it doesn't make any sense. So Olivia's definitely on to Hugo.
Yeah.
I would actually say I'm kind of here for this Olivia and Cole duo.
Me too. I want to see more of them, because I feel like, again, both of them are kind of getting purpled right now. So.
They are. They're not really doing much. Like, honestly, the one thing he did last episode was when he said yikes about Carson's performance.
Yeah, that was it.
That was so funny.
Yeah. I need a little bit more from a substantive level with both.
Yeah. I feel like Cole just gives, like, nice guy vibes.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I think you'd compare him to like the Jonathan and like
Yeah,
I could definitely see that.
I agree. Monet tells Cole, Olivia, Chris, and Carson that she did a confirmation clue that he's definitely Neil deGrasse Tyson. She feels like she's comfortable. She tells them the clue had to do with the cosmos, with stars and stuff, and she says it was just a confirmation clue and hopes she didn't waste it.
Again, I thought this was great by Monet. Like nobody can question this because they think he's Neil deGrasse Tyson. All she has to do, and she doesn't even need to show the clue to anybody now because they just think that she had Travis's clue and that confirms it. So I thought this was really smart of her to, again, just fully put it on to Travis.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it was just like perfect for her too.
Yeah.
Monet doesn't want Chris to know she pulled his clue because he's going to think she's coming after him. She is, but she's panicking and hopes she doesn't mess this up.
I think she's going to be fine. Like, I don't think this is something that anyone's really going to, at least when it comes to this show, like, I don't think anyone's going to fixate on, oh my God, was she serious about her clue? Because of what literally happens after, like, this episode. So I think she's going to be fine, but we'll see.
Cole and Olivia don't buy that it was just a confirmation clue. They don't know who she pulled, but they know it wasn't Travis's. So they're definitely on to her.
Yeah, but the question is, do they have the traction that they need?
Yeah. Travis asks Gabriel how he's feeling, and they mention how it's a scary position to be in, but also a huge position of power as a possible guesser. Gabriel tells him he knows he hears the news going around. He lets him know Jane exposed him to everybody, painted him in a bad light, and got his clue. And then Gabriel tells him to be careful.
Which I thought this was a good moment for Gabriel. Like I said, he's very much like the himbo of the house, but he does have some really good like social and strategic moments, and this was a really good moment of that.
Oh yeah, this is actually really good for him to like tell him that.
Like his game awareness, I think, is actually really good right now.
Oh yeah. Travis is completely shocked because he thought he could trust her and thought he had a friend. He's already betrayed week 2. He's disappointed, but he's thinking that this is the perfect opportunity to make Gabriel his ally.
Which it's like, now you want to make him your ally? Like, it's a little late for that, Travis.
I know. It could have saved him like forever ago, but not this one.
He could have saved the clue. He could have shared the clue with him from the beginning, and I feel like it probably works out better for him at that point.
I think so too.
Because like Chris and Gabriel are working together. Like Chris doesn't have any loyalties to Jane, so you know.
Travis tells Gabriel he has Shane's clue with him and he knows who she's related to. And he's been lying to everybody that he doesn't. And Jane also knows, but there's only so much he can do.
No.
He shows him all the clues that connect to Eddie Murphy. Chris, meanwhile, is listening in on this the entire time.
So good. So good.
He's such a villain. Gabriel's unsure if he's going to do it because the whole house wants him out. And he says because it's a train that's already gone, he can pick him up at any time moving forward. Shane, meanwhile, is a dark horse and he's no threat to him. And will have his back in this competition. He says he's choosing to share with him a clue that he already has, and they haven't shared any clues with him. And Gabriel says he likely was the last one to get that information, which he agrees on because they don't care about him like that. But he had actual information. Meanwhile, they are just trying to use him as to be the bullet. Which
I thought this was a good pitch from Travis. It's like, listen, they don't actually need you. They're playing you. You're the last one to figure out this information. I'm sharing this with you. The only other person I've shared this with is Jane. And I'm telling you this in confidence. And like, you can pick me off like at any time. And then we can just go for Shane now. I think that makes sense aside from him saying like, you can pick me off at any time. Because all it takes is for Travis to win immunity, and now he can't do that. So, you know, I hate when people say, oh, we can just go for this person at any time. It's like, I mean, you could literally say that about anybody.
Yeah, literally. Like, come on.
And, like, how does Gabriel know, like, they're going to get traction on Travis's name again? Like, it could easily fade away.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I just thought... I don't know. I thought that, and I mean, it kind of works because, like, I remember last season there was Simone Biles' sister. Everyone knew she was Simone Biles' sister, and like they were kind of keeping her around because of that, like as a layup. But she also went on a crazy immunity streak. So, like, keep in mind, yes, you could say they did that last season, but I also feel like the reason that Louise was safe was because of the fact that she went on a crazy immunity streak. So,
yeah, pretty much.
if she didn't, I think things probably play out differently. So I thought this was a decent pitch from Travis, but I think he could have done a little bit better in terms of like, oh, you can just go for me whenever, because you could literally say that about anybody. So
Yeah. Gabriel's shocked by the big fish relatives. He also is completely torn by both of them as they both are valuable players. If he takes out Shane, he could be the next target, but at the same time, he have more solid evidence for Shane because of what Travis has shown. But he may be picking her because it's a lot easier to pronounce than Travis's, and as he's still unsure how to pronounce Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I thought it was so funny that he still can't get it right. So
it's so funny.
Let's get to the guess off here, which is pretty intense. We see Shane, not as intense as last week, so I'll say that. We don't have
it's still spicy, but it's not as intense.
But it still was exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah.
So Shane says as soon as she came into this game, her ass has been out. Going into the guess off, knowing that Jane has this information about her is definitely going to play a part in who she decides to be the guesser. She just doesn't want to be the next person to go, which again, that's why I kind of want Shane to win immunity, because I think it'd be kind of fun.
I know.
So Kevin then asks if there are any rivalries brewing in the house, which Cole says he feels like some people might have shot themselves in the foot, and that's as much as he'll say. So Kevin then asks Jane and Gabriel how they're feeling, and Gabriel says it makes him feel like he's in a position of power, honesty, and ironically that he didn't think this could be a position of power. And then Gabriel says that his heart is racing. He was privy to some new information, but he doesn't want to be the guesser tonight because he doesn't want to do the job of the executioner. So it's time to vote. Monet, Jane, and Gabriel obviously will not be voting. Travis is up first, and he's hoping his last-ditch effort to convince Gabriel to guess Shane is going to work. So he puts his vote onto Gabriel. Shane is up next, and she says that it comes down to Jane being another person who has her clue, so it's the safest option in case they're wrong about Travis. Kristen says Jane has way too much information and he needs her around, but he doesn't know if he can trust her. So I assume he voted for Jane there. Cole is confused as to who to guess, but he ends up picking Jane. Olivia says that she's close with Jane and says she's really smart and knows what she's doing. So she ends up voting for Gabriel and says not to say the name wrong, which is
that was funny
all episode. So the guesser does end up being Gabriel here, which again, I credit Chris like a lot for this, because I think if Chris had not done what he did with getting Gabriel Travis's clue, I think Jane's probably picked here. So
probably
I it was really
that was all I think that was all Chris for sure.
Yeah, it really was. So he then says his target is the young, brilliant mind of his brother Travis. He guesses his claim to fame is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He does pronounce the name right, which does end up being correct. And then we see something that I don't remember seeing this last season, but we actually get to see a video message from Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't remember if they did this last season. If they,
I don't remember either.
Celebrities, maybe they did, and I'm just stupid. But basically, they say that Travis is his son, and that both he and his mother are proud of him. So I thought this was a pretty sweet moment. But Travis says that it's not every day you get to meet a famous scientist. He brings knowledge to people, brings some real facts, and brings the universe down to earth, which makes him come out of this a little bit brighter. We get this fun moment with Frankie where he says like he always wanted to study astrophysics because of his father, but was not something he ever actually ended up doing. So Travis says he's feeling betrayed and that they're all fishy in more ways than one. He says Jane knows what she's doing, and he was hoping that because he shared information with her, even if she figured him out, she wouldn't want to share that with the rest of the cast. But he's the first real victim of her games. And just like that, Travis is out of here. Like I said, I guess I'm not the right person to pick who's going to win claim to fame, because I said that he could be a potential winner pick.
He could have last round, like the last episode, because he was doing so well. But I guess he just played too hard. He played too hard, too fast, and people just were onto him.
Yeah, I think his downfall were a couple things. One, I think that he should not have done the talent that he did at the talent show.
Yeah.
It was very easy for people to figure out like who he was related to.
He should have just done like a song or something.
Yeah, I think he should have done something different.
Or like a dance routine.
too, I think that if he had not picked Shane's clue and he would have been a lot less discreet about it and just like share it with the house and kind of just make it seem like I just kind of picked it randomly, I think he would have been in a much better spot. And I think he actually could have gotten out of this. Like, I don't think this would have been like his downfall, but I think because he was so secretive about Shane's clue, only shared it to like 2 other people. I think this is why he ended up going. So I think he just really overplayed, unfortunately.
He was so good to watch, but like he just overplayed.
It also could be like what people say about Survivor, like maybe he just needs to play again when he's older, and maybe he'll have like
because he is so young.
He is the youngest one on the cast, so it could also be that too. But just like that, Travis is out. But I will say, I think the aftermath of this episode was even more exciting than the way
so spicy
last weekend.
So good.
Gabriel says that he wished he didn't have to do that, and he was sent to send a message. And Shane says this is karma from him picking her clue, and that this is what happens when you target someone for no reason. And then after the guest off, Gabriel immediately shows how snaky he can be. He lets JR know about Shane's clue. Chris then reveals to Shane.
I'm here for snaky Gabriel.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Chris, who is revealing to Shane that Jane knows 100% about who she is. She's extremely good at lying. And basically, we end the episode with Gabriel saying that everyone thinks that she's the sweet mama bear of the house, but she is playing all sides and is the real puppet master, pulling all the strings, and that he sees right through it. And just like that, Jane started off as basically someone that like everyone saw themselves as like really comfortable with, and now she's the biggest threat on the board. Like, holy shit!
She'll probably she'll probably be one of the next.
I think she could be the next. I really think she could. I think the only hesitation I have when it comes to Jane is that I don't think anybody knows who she's related to. I don't think anyone's really like put 2 and 2 together. So I don't know.
Yes, but I could honestly see like someone picking her, but then they get it wrong and leave.
Yeah, I think there's a couple options for what could happen next week. I think there is a slight chance that somebody finds out that Monet had Chris's clue and, they start to get wary of her. But I think really only Cole and Olivia are onto that. And I don't really know what traction that has. Like, are Cole and Olivia in a much better spot than I think?
Yeah, we'll see.
Possible, but it doesn't seem that way from the edit, so I don't know.
Yeah, they're just like very like just like purpled a lot.
Yeah, with that said, I mean, you don't want to tell Chris and Gabriel anything because they're just going to leak it to whoever. And
Chris Gabriel and JR.
Yeah, I mean, JR was probably the worst person he could have told because JR also is just going to leak it to everybody. So, I think if Shane doesn't win immunity next round, she could be fucked. She really could.
Yeah, I think Shane and Jane are the 2 that are fucked for sure.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's probably going to be one of them. Like I said, I think there's a slight chance that somebody could figure out that, like, Monet pulled Chris's clue, but I don't think that's going to come to fruition for a while. I think that's going to be something that... Yeah, I think that's going to be something that like happens later on. And also maybe Monet goes on a crazy immunity streak. I don't know. That could also happen.
I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah, we have a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Is she going to be the Louise?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool if she did that.
Just like winning all these comps.
Yeah, I'd be here for that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say this season is just on absolute fire. I can't wait to see what ends up happening moving forward because I certainly would not have expected Travis to go out as early as he did. And it's just insane to me that he's already out of here. People that I'm a little bit unsure about, I still don't know how Hugo's going to do. I don't think he's going to be an early boot like I thought he was last week, but I also don't know like what's really happening with him. So yeah, Hugo's someone I'm a little bit unsure about. I need to see more with Carson because to me, it seemed like at first like Chris and Carson are working close together. I think it's actually Chris and Gabriel. That's what I think it is.
I could see. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Carson and Hugo, I could see them just kind of going whenever. Like, I don't really like that. They don't really have like a huge edit right now.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. We'll really just have to see how it plays out. But
God, they're not purple, but they're just kind of like they're just question marks.
Yeah. Either way, though, I mean, what an episode. So much exciting stuff going on here. I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out. I can't believe we're only on episode 2 and it's already as insane as it is. I think this season is going to be just like I said, just on absolute fire. And I think
Oh yeah.
as long as we continue to have like the Chris's and the Gabriels and even the Monets, I think we're in for a really spicy season. So I'm very excited to see how the rest of this does go down.
Me too.
But yeah, other than that, I think we're gonna plug some things now. Stay tuned for you can do the plugs.
Okay. Stay tuned for, of course, next week's Stars on Mars and also Claim to Fame. And also eventually we'll be catching up on other shows.
Yes.
We just haven't really had the time, but
we also need to binge. It just came out last week, Secret Chef on Hulu. I've heard literally jack shit about the show, to be honest with you. I've not seen a single review for it. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. So I'm excited for us to be maybe one of the only podcasts that actually talk about it, because I think the premise is pretty insane. It's like The Circle and Big Brother combined with like Master Chef. That's like the best way to describe it. So
it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, because literally like everything's anonymous, which I think is really exciting. So we will be covering that show once we do finish the season. Same goes for The Traitors, same goes for The Circle, same goes for The Mole, which they just announced that season 2 is filming now. So excited to see how that goes. But yeah, other than that, that's it for our review of this week's episode of Claim to Fame. As always,
also, I just made an Instagram for us, so follow A Conversation with Kely on Instagram.
Yes. And we do not currently have a Conversation with Kely threads. We know threads is a thing, but we could potentially do that. We might do that. We'll see. If there's enough of a demand, we might do that.
We will see. We're just like, so obviously we have our Twitter and our YouTube and our Instagram, but maybe more later. Just those are for now.
Yeah. With that said, as always, comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of this week's episode of Claim to Fame. We actually had quite a few people talking about last week's episode, so would love to continue that conversation going, because I think there's a lot of exciting stuff happening on this season so far. I think it's pretty safe to say, at least for me, this is like probably the most exciting reality television show right now, just especially from these first 2 episodes alone. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, couples who podcast together, stay together. We will see you guys later.
Have a good day, guys.